Wooly, you've been gone for a few weeks, and I know you've been excited to get back to it and get back to the hard work that is casually chatting about digital media.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to ask you a question. Have you heard about Deathloop?
Oh boy. The mechanics of Deathloop, but how does it work? No, actually, I have heard about Deathloop, and I hear that it's really, really good, and that
It's
it's
stellar.
it's the best of the Dishonored vibe.
I have like issues with those Dishonored games that I'm not even gonna bother go into, right? I don't know if it's the best one out of all their stuff, but it's definitely the easiest to get into by
Hmm.
far. It takes a lot of things that I would call like player annoyance and just throws them away. It's like you can't choke people out non-lethally, and you see graffiti and straight up messages from God everywhere that just say kill everyone, kill them, stab them, shoot them in the face, kill every last motherfucker. So, okay, that Dishonored shit gone, removed from your brain.
Okay.
Um it's interesting because I was talking to a ton of people. I talked to Susie about this, and Dave from New Blood on Twitter was talking about it, where we were pretty much all of the assumption that this game was gonna fucking sell like piss because it's an immersive sim, which sell like shit. They always sell like shit. Like Prey sold like garbage. Even Deus Ex, the original, didn't sell particularly well back in the day. I think Human Revolution probably did the best out of all of them in that genre, but it
Mm.
was not like sold as an immersive sim. And in fact, I think Gene just wrote an article based on us talking about this a few weeks ago. That's about how Deathloop sold, even though it's an immersive sim and it's not a popular genre.
What would you define as
Um,
an immersive sim?
so immersive sim made a hell of a lot more sense back in the year 2000, back when it was literally only Deus Ex and System Shock 2.
Okay, because that's a
Um,
word choice that is like RPG, where it's like that could be anything.
so it specifically referred to games primarily in the first-person shooter, like perspective, that allowed you to go through a realized world with like physics that would have reactivity to your actions, and you would have different ways of dealing with problems that then would react to it. So think of Deus Ex or System Shock, where you could go quiet or sneaky or a variation of in between, or use diplomat, like not an RPG, right? But and Thief is also in like the poster, not a poster, but like one of the progenitors for that. Um, but when Deus Ex came out and that term got popularized, like it was really the only show in town that did all the things that it was doing. Like it did have some Thief stuff, and System Shock also existed. But now that every game has some level of physics interaction and choose your own thing, it basically refers to very specifically Thief, Deus Ex, System Shock, Prey kinds of games. Wander a realized environment, go through terminals, read people's email, sneak around, maybe
Okay,
shoot some people.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't fully get it in terms of like I'm sure there are games that will have all those things that break the mold if you want to
Okay, you know
strictly.
what? I can really solve it for you. For every game made after 2004, if there is a combination that you can punch in at the first door that is 0451, that is an immersive sim.
Okay.
That is the genre designation, to the point where there's an achievement in Deathloop if you try that code on the first door and the character remarks that old habits die hard.
Okay.
But as for like explaining it to people that are not living that iSim life, People, by the way, somebody in chat just mentioned, so Bioshock is an immersive sim? Absolutely. It's an immersive sim in the Shock style.
It sounds like our struggle to define character action.
It does. It's very similar. But the easier way to define Deathloop is that it's a first-person game where you are running a series of Hitman levels in order to find the perfect Hitman run.
Okay.
You're learning how various things interact between levels. You're figuring out if I do this here, then this will open up, or this person will move to this location in order to find the perfect run, which is the final loop, which is the ability to kill all targets in a single day. Running around, playing with the powers, figuring out solutions to all these weird little problems, seeing how things interact between all the different areas, trying to figure out how to get people in certain places is tons of fun. It's a blast.
I heard that Go ahead.
No, after you.
No, I heard that the story and plot and character implementation is also like really, really strong.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're basically talking to at level start. You're talking constantly to your primary antagonist would be Juliana, who will either through AI or player invasion show up in at least one of your levels throughout the day to try and murder you. A la Dark Souls. And the back and forth on that is stellar. Like it's just really fun antagonistic character writing.
So I don't know if it was her specifically, but I've heard a description of a nemesis-like persistent enemy.
Oh yeah, that'd be Juliana.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you have four, like you do. There's 4 times a day, and you can only do 1 level per time of day. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, and she invades about 2 on average. It's never consistent as to which ones. And player invasions are like decidedly stacked in cult's favor, like in the single player person's favor, because they have 3 lives, whereas the invader only has 1. So it ends up feeling it like if they get you 3 times, like congratulations. But yeah, no, those 2 interacting is the absolute highlight of the game. It's pretty much the core plot, because the game doesn't really have a core plot. The game is, I'm gonna break the loop. Fuck you, no fuck you. Okay, cool, I figured out how to break the loop. I'm gonna do it, and then you do your perfect run. The only thing that I really dislike about the game, genuinely, is that finding out what the perfect run, which is about 95% of the game, is a blast. Doing the perfect run is super easy and totally trivial. And is not like it's portrayed as like it'll be the final test of your abilities, and it's super not.
Okay, so after all the build-up, it's not as satisfying to do it.
And then the game just ends. Like it has one of those endings where you talk to somebody for a couple minutes, and then they go, "Okay, it's over," and then the credits roll. And like it just like completely deflates right at the end, which is again part of the immersive sim genre. Terrible final level with terrible endings. The fucking ending to Deus Ex 1 is awful. It's terrible.
But like, I mean, I guess is it such a ball drop that like it affects the way you feel about the rest of it? Okay.
It is kind of a wet fart of a finale. But like that wet fart of a finale was 45 minutes compared to the about, I don't know, 15, 16 hours I spent with it. So like, game's still great. Super good.
Okay.
Deathloop is good. Thumbs up on Deathloop. And it sold well. And I was looking at what Dave from New Blood was posting. And the marketing makes more sense now. Because the marketing portrayed it as everything that it's not. It portrayed it as a a multiplayer versus game. It portrayed it as like a level-based shooter. It portrayed it as a puzzle game. All these different things when it's actually an iSim, but iSims sell like shit.
See, I just took it to be like, this is a game that has a lot of money spent on it, so we're gonna remind you about it every single time we have a stage show.
Well, the other thing is that Prey, which did I finish that before you left? I think I did.
You did. Yeah, you talked.
Okay,
Yeah,
Prey,
I think so.
Prey
Yeah.
is excellent. I would probably say Prey is better than Deathloop, but just by a little. Prey sold like shit. Like, it sold like crap because it was undermarketed.
Yeah, I haven't heard much at all for its of that.
Like, it's one of those games of the years that, oopsie, everybody missed.
A couple of those coming by, and